Oh, hey, I knew you'd be back. So today, if you watched my last video, you would have seen me working on that bridge with the fluting. And this is the shelf that goes on top of it, which is upside down on the bench right now. But just working out the lineup of the pieces before it's all mounted together. So yeah, I just wanted to share the how it's coming along. I'm getting really close to wrapping this project up, and probably within the next week or so, it'll be all wrapped up. But it's definitely taken form now. So it's thought that I'd share that, and I had a few other things that I wanted to share and talk about. So I guess we just start with one thing and move on to the other. So what I wanted to share with was this. I don't know what you call it, but it's equivalent to a sanding block, but it's round. And this allows you to finish off what we call a covetto or a bird's beak um, uh, detail. And it's really handy for making them nice and straight. So normally you would just use a dowel, or we have everything from pieces of plastic pipe to dowels to pieces of steel pipe. But this one is my favorite by far, and it's an old tire iron that I've padded the handle so that it doesn't damage the stonework. But it's like the best the best version that I've ever used. And what's nice about it is you get full control with the handle. And I just wanted to share that because it's not only in stone but in other applications. This tool, or a tool similar to that, is like when I came across this, it was like, yes, that's the solution for problems that I've been experiencing, because it allows you to both hold and guide the the what do you call it, the the round sanding block. Let's just call it that. I'm sure that the name will come to me eventually, but uh, yeah, it's just allows you to guide it through nice and controlled without it uh, uh, falling out of your fingers. It's sometimes when you're trying to navigate a round piece in a narrow confined space, you have a tendency for it to flip out of your hands. And when you're doing that for hours on end, it gets a bit exhausting chasing this roller across the shop. So for after years of doing that, I came up with this, and it's just amazing, the difference. It's just so civilized now. So I wanted to share that because I know that when I started using this, I mean, it's been years now, but when I started using this tool, it completely changed everything. It and you can use the same kind of tool for sanding these details for, say, woodwork as well, right? I mean, you can wrap a piece of carpenter sandpaper around it just the same. So that's it's just a really exciting way to get a really, really nice finish. And if you've got any lumps or bumps or ridges or ripples, you just cuts right through them all. And I think that's kind of exciting. But I thought I'd share that because I've never seen anybody use anything like this before. I'm sure that I'm not the only person who's come up with it, but it's um, it's a great use for an old tire iron. Anybody that's been around long enough has gone through enough vehicles, come and gone, and you never think about pulling the tire iron out of the trunk before you get rid of the car, but maybe you will now in the future because the first of all, the steel is excellent. I mean, you can make beautiful tools out of this as well. So, I mean, that in itself is worth saving. But the fact that it's already pre-bent and it's like a handle, you know, it's perfect for this purpose. You know, it's very ergonomic, and you can work that all day with comfort and ease. And all you have to do is just be, conscious and mindful of the fact that it is heavy ended, and the last thing you want is that smacking off of some beautiful carved detail. But as long as you can compensate for that, the tool is absolutely brilliant. uh, so yeah, I wanted to share that, and I thought that was worthy of discussion. When I was using it, I thought, these are the kind of things that I'd like to share with others, because it takes sometimes years to come up with these ideas yourself, and you start thinking, geez, how could I do that? And um, it was a while before I clued into this. So just thought I'd share that, and hopefully somebody else will benefit from my experience. That's what this is all about. I mean, that's the whole point of my channel. Is it's it's both to, potentially, I won't lie, the idea of potentially monetizing a channel is an attractive one. I think most people get onto YouTube in the first place for that. So that's a very realistic and honest thing to say. But the bigger reason for this channel is to share the knowledge that I have, which I think is unique. I think it's special, and um, I haven't found another channel quite like mine. There's a few others that are similar, and they've got their own unique style. But I'd like to give it my own style. It's not everybody will want to watch me. I get that. Not everybody's going to enjoy my content, but I'm hoping to improve as I get. I think that my channel's slowly getting better. I'm learning a lot. It's like going back to school, just learning the YouTube culture. It's a lot. Um, but it's been it's been a joy learning this, and I'm still learning. So if you bear with me, I think you'll see a steady, slow but steady improvement in my channel, and I think that in the future there's going to be some. It's endless. This profession is very exciting. It covers so much, and I want to cover everything for covers areas of geology, and it covers areas of metallurgy and engineering, structural engineering, which is some of the qualities that a good stone cutter and stone installer needs to have, is engineering, something that people don't really often consider when they see guys on a job site installing stonework. They don't realize the kind of background research that they've had to do, and the thinking of all the details that they've had to do preparing before they've actually installed the piece. There's usually a lot of meetings, um, thinking, researching, sourcing of materials and supplies, and bringing that all together into something that, if everything goes as planned, ends up being a flawless installation, and everybody just sits back and says, wow, that went in so beautifully. And that's the idea, but there's a lot that goes beyond into it, and I don't see a lot of people sharing that. There's a danger in people sometimes believing that things are happen easily, and I don't want to give that illusion that things happen just like that, because they don't. um, the That's why I've been reluctant to even post any shorts yet, because I can't see how I can honestly portray what I do, which I can spend days on end on a single piece, into a 60-second snippet, start to finish, and let people believe that that's an honest portrayal of the amount of effort that is put into something, because it's dishonest. Uh, it might be entertaining, but it is dishonest, and I don't want people to be misinformed. I want people to be educated and informed and enlightened about things around the world that they are, so that they can appreciate them more. And I don't think that we really appreciate things when things are reduced and condensed into something that's consumable, but with no appreciation about what goes into it. It's I think that that's a dangerous culture to encourage. I don't think that it leads us anywhere in a healthy place. So um, that's my intention, and I hope that people see that and find the entertainment in it as well. It's I won't be doing a Colin Firth style, crazy, you know, uh, shenanigans kind of stuff. It's that's attractive for a certain type, but I won't be doing that because I got a great sense of humor, but I take this very seriously, and what I do very seriously, and um, the fun is had in smaller, more subtle ways. A stonecutter's wit and humor, it's subtle. Uh, you have to listen carefully to catch it, but that goes hand in hand with the profession. Yeah, I think that pretty much sums it all up. So these are just some of the things I wanted to share. I don't want to, I do tend to ramble on too much, and I noticed that the algorithm punishes me for it because people stop watching, and that's not good. So it's the unfortunate thing when people don't want to listen to you talk, isn't it? But this is so what I'll do is I'll work more and I'll talk less. Sounds like a good plan. But I find this kind of work, it reminds me a lot of the relaxation ASMR videos where you just you kind of get into the zone. Not everybody gets that because some people have a need to be constantly stimulated nonstop. But for me, I once I get into the zone, I can stay there forever. It's a very satisfying finish. So I won't spend too much time on this, but yeah. So I just wanted to share this little detail, and again, the old rubstone. It's a great way to start. There's a multi stages when you're what we call rubbing up a job, and the rubstone is always the initial one. So you take all the coarseness out and you tighten things up using the rubstone. And we have different rubstones of different coarseness. This one is nice because it's a little coarser. So because the stone is so fine, it has a tendency to clog up the pores. So a coarser stone still allows it to be abrasive. Whereas if I had a finer stone, it would get so gummed up, it wouldn't. It would be a little more than burnishing it or polishing it. So with this one, you can still lean into it and it doesn't get all gummed up. So these are the kind of things that you won't see a stonecutter do when you see a rush to a final reveal. But it's these things that, when you look at the beautiful carving, you don't see, I've never seen carver being videoed or filmed actually rubbing up their work. You see them chiseling their work, but you rarely ever see them rubbing up their piece in between the stages. And um, though it's not always done, for certain stages, that's how it's done. You work it up to a certain detail, and then you rub it and you tighten it up, and then you work it in some more, and then you tighten it up. And there's the stages that you go through, because if you leave it rough, it doesn't get any smoother. The chisel marks will always be there, and you have the danger of losing the details. But when you rub it in, it actually tightens up, and it allows you, then it softens everything off, yes, but then you go in and you crisp everything up for the next pass. And these are the stages that you go through, and this is the rubstones are they're essential for those stages. But they're also traditionally used for, if this was a large stone, you'd actually be able to get a fairly fine finish with it. Of course, for a fine mantle, you want something much finer than a rubstone to finish it off. So this won't be the final finish. This just allows me to speed up the finishing process. And then of course the other way that you can finish stone off is you can actually use a chisel, a nice sharp chisel, like a scraper. And that's a very handy tool for if you're doing fine details and carving as well. You won't see that done either. I haven't seen anybody use that technique, and I don't know if it's that they're intentionally concealing those techniques, or if I just haven't seen it yet. But these are the things that, when you're looking at things on buildings, helps you to appreciate the stages that go into them, and the signatures that indicate that those techniques have been used. It's not all just mallet and chisel, especially when you're dealing with tighter materials such as marble and fine limestones. Chisels would be used as scrapers and or draggers uh, more often than I think a lot of people realize. That's one of the best ways to get really tight, sharp edges, is to get a really nice sharp chisel and get right in there. You can, finish things off beautiful and smooth, and remove your chisel marks, right? Because you don't necessarily want chisel marks in something that's going to be a fine, refined finish. So it's a great way to get right in there into all the little nooks and crannies to finish the surfaces off. And if your chisel is sharp enough, you can literally take it to almost a high hone finish just with the edge of a chisel. So that's a detail I've never seen anybody talk about. But I think that it's a cool thing to share, and you can do with it what you want. It still doesn't. I have no fear about sharing these details, because anybody using them still has to put the effort in. So it doesn't really infringe upon any kind of threat to the profession or to competition, and releasing your secret details, because of course anybody doing the same kind of work has to put in the same amount of effort regardless. And I think that's instantly narrows down the field right there, because people just don't want to put in the effort. I fortunately do, so it's and I take great joy in it, and I encourage and applaud anybody else who is willing to do that, because it's for me, I love it.